What's up everybody, it's your boy Duty back again with another video. And this video I wanted to post because yesterday was a very interesting day where our boy Phil played two games where he clearly complains that they're both glitchy, have problems and so on. As it relates to Pokemon Scarlet, you know, he complains that the frame rate is crap, it has glitches, it has problems and so on. And he also complains about Call of Duty Modern Welfare. We're calling it Welfare because our boy Phil plays so much. He plays so trashy that the only thing he gets out of it is Welfare from the Dead. So Modern Warfare 2, where he complains nonstop about glitchiness, buggy netcode, the developers did a crappy job on the game, and so on and so on. You guys have heard it over and over again. But the interesting thing is that on his daily rap, he takes an interesting take on both games, right? Both games that are trash, both from his perspective, both games that are trash, both games that are glitchy as hell, both games that are nothing but bug-filled messes, right? His words, right? And let's hear how he talks about one game versus the other. And the only difference here, folks, is that he hit the tier 2 tip goal on one game, and then he did not. He barely hit the tier 1 tip goal on the second stream. Let's hear how our boy Phil talks about each of those games. And again, the only difference from Phil's perspective is how many tips he got. So let's hear him talk about Pokemon.
Various levels of reward for that event or something, okay? But we need to figure out January's event before we get to February's, because Super Bowl's in February, okay? Alright, gameplay today. First stream, Pokemon Scarlet. Once again, the game runs like shit. No one's gonna deny this. The frame rate is terrible. The lighting, the pop-in, it's really bad. But the game is genuinely fun. Like, I'm having a great time with it. The playthrough is chill and interactive. Everyone's having a good time when I play the game. We had, I think, one Pokemon got named today. Remember, if you tip $25 or more during the playthrough, you can actually name a Pokemon. And one person, I think it was CM Fool, named a fighting type Pokemon, the Quiet Man, which is pretty cool. So, it was great. We went to westward from the school. We explored the open world. We actually arrived at the first major, town to the west. Investigated it. Had a gym battle against the bug-type Pokemon trainer. Got our first gym badge, so now we can train Pokemon that are up to level 25. Which is neat because we already had one that was level 20. It was so hard to catch and wouldn't have obeyed us, so we tried to use it. Now we can use it. So that was awesome. And then we kept going. And if I remember correctly, we went further out west, and originally I was going to try to climb a mountaintop, because that's where one of the, I guess, Titan Pokemon challenges was supposed to be. But then we got sidetracked, we fell off the side of the mountain, ended up going underground into a cave, and then ended up going to the desert, which apparently is, too far, because the enemies in the desert were, level 22 to 26, we were only, level 20, 21. I was able to catch a few, but some were just way too high level. So we ended up skedaddling out of the desert, ended up going to a town that was on the border of the desert, and they're like, oh, you can't do the gym here because the gym leader left. He went to a freaking town on the other side of the desert. So now you have to go across the desert to do it. I was like, what? So instead of doing that, we headed out and started investigating again. And I ended up running into one of the Team Star camps. And basically we got the plot that you need to infiltrate the camps to take them over by doing several fights and then fighting a boss. That's what we're going to do next. And then we ran out of time. So I'm excited because we actually are at our interesting point where we can do a bunch of stuff in this one region, and then when we're done, we know where we're going next. We're going across the desert to continue on with the gym stuff. So it was a great stream. We got a lot of new Pokemon, a lot of Pokemon evolved today for the first time. So it was fun and a great interactive time. So far, the Pokemon playthrough, I got nothing to say but thumbs up. Even though the game runs crappy, everything else about the playthrough has been great. You know, it really is about us chilling and having a good time rather than being so, bothered by the bad frame rate or whatever, right? Then on the late stream.
Okay, so you heard him specifically say it's trash. I watched the playthrough. It's boring as all hell. Phil is boring. I know people like Pokemon. I find Pokemon to be extremely boring. I don't find it to be interesting or fun at all. I don't play the games. But just watching Phil play the games, it's just utter trash and boring. But our boy Phil made $100, so he hit the tier 2 tip goal. So That's the only good thing that came out of the stream. But you notice he's perfectly fine with playing a trash game with bugs and problems. Like he said himself, he's perfectly fine with playing those games as long as he's getting that money, those tips. That's all he cares about. And it's just proof. It's just proof, solid proof that a boy Phil just cares about money. He can be playing what's the worst game out there ever? Just think of the worst game ever out there. And if he's at $100 a stream, he's happy as hell. And Pokemon's been okay lately. It's been alright. It's starting to die down a bit. Probably the next Pokemon stream, he's not going to get anyone to name a Pokemon because it's just played out. But let's see how his tune changes once the support slows down. Now let's hear him talk about Modern Welfare too, because he's utter garbage in this game. This is a game where he is just utter trash, and he blames the devs, he blames the netcode. None of that is true. Occasionally he may run into a game where the frame rate's a little buggy, but that's on his end because his setup is trash, and a lot of it is just his fault. But let's listen how Phil talks about this. And remember, he barely cracked the tier 1 tip goal on this game.
Tonight, it was more Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. I was using the FTAC or FTAC battle rifle, which we had started using last time. Got a bunch more attachments for it. Started alternating between the semi-automatic and the full automatic modes, because the semi-automatic seems really good for mid to long range, but when they're up close, you want that full auto, and it seems pretty effective. I like the gun. I feel like I don't have exactly the best loadout for it yet, but I'm working on it. In addition, we did unlock another assault rifle while I was using it. Not assault rifle, excuse me, another SMG while I was using it. So now we have options, and I'm thinking, when we play again Tuesday night, likely I'll start with the FTAC, but if we get bored, we can switch over to an SMG for the very first time and see how the SMG stack up in the game. But it was pretty good. I actually got a chopper gunner. Although admittedly, yet again, the game is really showing how poorly designed it is. I hate to say it. So, a couple situations. So, a guy is running straight for me, okay, in free-for-all. His gun is completely pointed down, has not drawn yet. I draw, I fire 3 shots into him. Boom, boom, boom. This is with the FTAC. It shows hit indicator. Boom, boom, boom. I instantly die. Never shows on his screen him ever raise his gun or fire the weapon. Kill cam. Oh, he raised and fired on me before I ever shot at him. How can you tell me that's valid competitive gameplay? Like, you've got to be a fucking idiot. I can't believe Infinity Ward thinks this game is passable online. It's not. The netcode, you'll get one match where everything goes fluidly and another match where it's insanely bad like that, yet it still says it's a good connection each time. Like that arguably probably said like 50 millisecond match. They're out of their fucking minds, okay? Another example. So, I'm in a room. I know a guy is coming up the staircase. I'm just literally staring at the door waiting. You see his body appear and you see a shotgun just starting to move up and just start to like turn the corner. So he's not facing me yet. I'm aiming at fire, fire, fire. 1 hit indicator, 2 hit indicator, dead. What? On his screen, he came up completely turned, aimed, and fired at me before I ever hit him once. Even though I was lined up at the door knowing he was coming up there, it fucking still gave him the benefit of the doubt and let us act like he aimed on me first and fired. The game is insanely bad online. Just like every Call of Duty. I don't want to act like I'm really narrowing this one out or whatever. I'm not. Every Call of Duty for the last like 5 to 10 years, the connections just get worse. It's a joke. And they never, ever improve the netcode. It's always like this. Typically, I notice on weekends it's worse. Today was a Sunday night. Yes, it was definitely worse than, say, last week. Remember, last week there was a couple different kill streaks that I got. I was pleased to even get the chopper gunner tonight because I really felt like it was an uphill battle when you're just trying. You can't even get easy kills on enemies, right? It's pretty bad. But I had a good time and the audience was pretty good. You know, thank you to anyone who attended. Good stuff all around.
What he wanted to say right there was that support was slow and he had to catch himself. Now you notice the difference, the stark difference, how he trashes one game, but yet it's okay with the other. And I will tell you that Pokemon is more garbage than Call of Duty. Call of Duty's fine. I've been playing it since it came out and I've had no issues. A couple games, the game dropped on me, then just because it's PC, and that's always the case with PC. But other than that, the frame rate is good. The latency is perfect. I don't have any problems. I have gig speed internet just like Phil does. So I don't know what his problem is, but I just wanted to show the stark contrast of how Phil treats one game when it gets support and how he treats another game when he doesn't get the support. And we all know that Call of Duty Modern Warfare has been struggling. I think his first day when he played, he made 100 something bucks, and then after that, he barely cracks the tier 1 tip goal. And it's usually some dent that comes in and drops a couple bucks to get him over the tier 1 tip goal. But it's been a mess. And I'm telling you right now, if it keeps going this way, he's going to drop Call of Duty Modern Warfare soon. So anyway, just wanted to post that video. Just stark contrast and proof that all Phil cares about is the money and the tips. If the tips and the money are flowing, it's an awesome game. It's chill fun. Oh, it's fine that it's buggy. It's fine that the developer didn't put in the time and money and the effort to fix it. It's perfectly fine as long as I'm getting my tips. Anyway, that's the video, folks. Peace out.